This is Radio Romania International. You are listening to our 1-hour broadcast in English for listeners in Western Europe and Japan. We can also be heard on the internet at www.ri.ro, Channel 1. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter and other social media platforms. Our programs are also available on TuneIn, Radio Romania International 1, and in Europe via satellite Eutelsat 16A on 11,512 MHz, vertical polarization, azimuth 16 degrees east. We wish you good reception conditions.
Hello, I'm Nata Merasmian with the news. First, the headlines. The ruling coalition in Romania, made up of the Social Democratic Party and the National Liberal Party, will have a common candidate for the general mayor of Bucharest in the local elections on June 9th. Romania sees the start of a new edition of the successful car scrapping program Zarabla, which are meant to renew the car fleet. And another 11 Romanian citizens and their family members were evacuated from the Gaza Strip and arrived in Egypt, the Romanian Foreign Ministry announced. The ruling coalition in Romania, made up of the Social Democratic Party and the National Liberal Party, will have a common candidate for the general mayor of Bucharest in the local elections on June 9th. Namely the physician Cătălin Cârstoiu, the current manager of the university hospital. He will be presented by the leaders of the two parties in a joint press conference. Regarding the candidates for Bucharest sectors, they will be announced after the proposals from the Social Democrats and the Liberals will be validated by the leaderships of the two parties. At the same time, the governing coalition should also finalize this week the common list of candidates for the European Parliament, which will also take place on June 9th. On the other hand, the United Right Alliance, made up by Save Romania Union, the People's Movement Party, and the Force of the Right Party, will be on the ballots at the June 9th elections. On Tuesday, the High Court of Cassation and Justice annulled the decision of the Central Electoral Bureau, by which it had rejected its establishment protocol. We remind you that this year, besides local and European Parliament elections, parliamentary and presidential elections will also take place in Romania. A new car scrapping scheme got underway in Romania on Tuesday, available to those wishing to buy new, more environmental-friendly cars. People can receive up to 1,400 euros for scrapping a used car and 2,000 euros for 2 used cars, according to the basic version of the scheme. Under the so-called Plus version, individual persons can buy cars with a lower pollution level to the amount of 60,000 euros, including VAT, with eco-bonuses and an eco-ticket to be potentially added to the scrapping bonus. The budget allocated to the basic version of the scheme is 60 million euros, while that for the Plus version is 200 million euros, according to the Environment Fund Administration. Another 11 Romanian citizens and family members were evacuated from the Gaza Strip and arrived in Egypt, said the Foreign Ministry in Bucharest on Monday evening. A Romanian embassy mobile consular team took them over and accompanied them to Cairo, from where they will fly to Romania. So far, 313 Romanian citizens and family members have been evacuated from Gaza. The Romanian Foreign Ministry says it is in constant contact with the Israeli and Egyptian authorities to facilitate the evacuation of other Romanian nationals and family members, should there be requests to this end, and depending on the developments on the ground and the agreement of the parties involved. The capping of the trade markup to basic foods will be extended until the end of the year, according to a bill adopted on Tuesday by the Romanian Chamber of Deputies as a decision-making body. It is a law that complements the legislation in force and which was supported by the parliamentary groups of the Social Democratic Party, the National Liberal Party, and the Alliance for the Union of Romanians. The Social Democrats in the governing coalition say that the decision to extend this measure was taken following the large number of requests from citizens, while the opposition Save Romania Union says that the measure is populist and has proven inefficient. The law also provides for the establishment of a mechanism for monitoring the prices of agricultural and food products. Romania's Constitutional Court rejected the notification submitted by Save Romania Union and the Force of the Right, both in opposition, against the draft law decriminalizing tax evasion with a damage below 1 million euros. If the amount is fully returned, the damage being increased by 15% plus interest and penalties. The court claims that the law is an important step for the transition toward modern theories of criminal law, in which the main objective must be aimed at the discovery and confiscation of illicit assets. The appellants argued that the law is an invitation to theft made by the ruling coalition made up of the Social Democratic Party and the National Liberal Party. And that was the news from Bucharest, Radio Romania International.
In Romania, employees in a number of sectors are protesting against salary policy. I'm Elena Enache with more on this topic in a report by Corina Cristea. Unhappy with the fact that the government did not take into account their requests regarding salary levels, the employees of the town halls in Romania's rural areas started protest actions on Monday. Specifically, for 1 week they will go on a daily 2-hour warning strike, and for the rest of the program they will be on Japanese strike. They will solve petitions and requests, but within the deadline set by the law. The leader of the National Union of Employees of Municipalities and Cities in Romania, Dan Cârlan, explained. The union representatives say that the 60,000 employees of the town halls are the only ones in the public system who have remained with their salaries at the level of 2021, and the government has promised them an increase of about 100 euros. A decision regarding a possible salary increase could be taken after the budget execution for the first 3 months of this year will be analyzed next month. Also on Monday, around 200 employees working in the trade sector also took to the streets. They demanded that meal and holiday vouchers be exempted from taxes. Moreover, they are unhappy with the lack of a national employment contract. Protesters complain about pressure from employers who they say often keep them on low wages or even on minimum wages in a sector where labor productivity is high, and so are the profits. At the same time, after protests organized in the capital Bucharest, Solidaritatea Sanitară Federation held at the end of last week a referendum on the topic of starting a general strike. All employees in the healthcare system were invited to evaluate the relevance and impact of the increase in basic salaries on the individual salary income and to decide on starting a strike, respectively participating in the strike. Unionists in the healthcare system are unhappy with the fact that the government promised them an increase of only 20% in salaries and claim that they receive too little money for their work. Thus, doctors have a contract for extra shifts, which are paid at the level of salaries before their update, and the nurses do not receive their extra money for the night shifts and for the Saturday-Sunday shifts, a program that must ensure the continuity of the activity in the system. Union representatives also say that the nurses and caregivers receive the increase for dangerous, harmful conditions, the increase for night shifts, and the increase for Saturday, Sunday shifts and public holiday shifts at the salary level of 2018, before the new salary law was enforced. The technical, economic, and social administrative staff is in the same situation. And also the fact that the food allowance has not been updated either is a reason for dissatisfaction. Unionists say that they are determined to continue protest actions, the next step being a warning strike. On Monday, penitentiary employees also announced that they will protest in most detention units from March 21st if the unitary salary law does not apply to them.
Romanian authorities are trying to make up for some of the negative effects of not joining the Schengen Agreement. I'm Mihaela Ignatescu with more in this report by Bogdan Matei. At the end of this month, Romania and Bulgaria, members of the European Union since 2007, will finally be admitted into the Schengen free movement area, but only with the air and maritime borders, not with the land ones, which are crossed by most travellers and goods. A singular voice among the 27 member states of the Union, Austria still has objections regarding the admission of the two countries, although Romania, at least, has been meeting all the technical requirements for more than a decade. About 25 million Romanians and Bulgarians continue to feel like second-class Europeans, which commentators say will fuel this year, when elections for the European Parliament are due, the electoral share of Eurosceptic or overtly anti-European parties. Economic analysts point out in turn that the burden of keeping Romania outside the Schengen area was borne by the private sector. In the transport sector alone, losses due to the unjustified delay of accession amount to more than 16 billion euros, accumulated since 2011. Everyone seems to agree that the most affected are the drivers of cargo trucks. Due to the controls at the internal borders of the Union, they sometimes lose days in a row in customs, and upon arrival, the beneficiary of the journey can penalize them for the delay, and the perishable goods arrive already altered. Finally, the Bucharest authorities decided to take measures to compensate for the negative effects on transport activities caused by postponing the Schengen accession. Therefore, the food allowance will be instituted for mobile workers in road transport in the amount of 40 euros per day, and the companies in the field will have the opportunity to grant posting allowances within the limit of 4 drivers' basic salaries. The bill, initiated by the National Liberal Party, member of the government coalition together with the Social Democratic Party, was unanimously endorsed by the Senate on Monday. On behalf of the initiators, Liberal Senator Alexandru Nazare said,
Introducerea unei indemnizații de hrană. De ce? Pentru că este obligatorie la nivel european.
The introduction of a food allowance. Why? Because it is mandatory at European level. All European states have it. Romanian transporters must clearly state the amount earmarked for a driver's food. Today they can't do it because we don't have this clearly defined food allowance. From the opposition, the Save Romania Union voted in turn in favor of the draft law. Here is Senator Cristian Bordei.
Acest proiect de lege vine cu câteva prevederi într-adevăr bune.
This bill comes with some really good provisions, but unfortunately they reflect the fact that the state has to spend money because we're faced with this catastrophic failure regarding the admission of Romania into Schengen with the land borders. The document is now bound for the Chamber of Deputies, which is the decision-making body in this matter. That was Radio Newsreel.